said, weeping willow, blow that morning dove. I got a gal up the country that I sure love. If you see him on, please still come back home. So if you see my woman, well, won't you tell her back home? 'Cause I had no love since that gal been gone. Well, there ain't no loving, ain't no getting along. I said, well, there ain't no loving, just ain't no getting along. Well, my gal treats me so mean and dirty, sometimes don't know right from wrong. Oh, I laid down last night, I tried to take my rest. I laid down last night, I tried to take my rest. Well, my mind kept wandering like those wild geese in the west. Oh, play it, boy. They're gonna give me a bulldog, watch she while I sleep. Yeah, bulldog, she gonna watch while I sleep. Just to keep these men coming up this early, making that early morning creep. And if you see my woman, they'll tell her hurry back home. Hey, you see my woman, yeah, tell her hurry back home. 'Cause I ain't had no love since that gal been gone. Hey, you gonna love him some more lonesome day. Hey, you gonna love him some more lonesome day. Yeah, but it'd be too late, 'cause I've gone too far away. All right, that was Blind Boy Fuller, and boy, this is if there's one classic Blind Boy Fuller song, I mean, there are probably 4 or 5 that would pop to somebody's mind if you're, a blues guy. But Weeping Willow is signature, and it's still popular among thumb pickers and fingerstyle players and Piedmont blues pickers of all stripes. I would say that it's probably one of his earlier tunes, although it wasn't one of the first tunes he recorded. I really hear more of a Blind Blake influence on this one. Blind Blake was more of a ragtime guitar player, had more of what you would call the piano style of playing, and he was a 3-finger picker. Now Fuller was a 2-finger picker, and he tended to be a little more influenced by later blues sounds than Blake was. Blake was probably a good 20 years older than him. And of course he was his protege, so was Gary Davis. All 3 of those men had very different styles. I mean, we think of Blake going... that kind of thing. That's totally different. I mean, that's Fuller would do that. It's totally different than what Blake would do. Blake was very intricate, very, like I said, more piano styled. And really, I don't think anybody can ever truly copy Blind Blake's playing. And I think that's not a bad thing, because that did encourage Fuller and Davis and Pink Anderson and everybody, Brownie McGee, kind of in that circle to develop their own styles. Well, this one though, it's definitely an older style of blues tune. It's not that more Blind Lemon Jefferson type of influence. It is more, I think three fingers. Okay, so normally I say it's easier to play a Blind Boy Fuller song in using two fingers. This is the easiest way I can make this make sense. But in this one, definitely easier to use three fingers. I don't know if he used two fingers or three fingers. I do know he used a capo. I played in the key of A. He would have played it in the key of C using a capo on the third fret. This works better for my voice. And I mean, you know me, I don't like to use finger picks. I don't like to use capos. I like to pick up my guitar and go. I'm not into the gear, okay? I like to just grab my guitar and play it. And I was really pleased when I started fooling around with this song that just playing it in open A did fit my voice a lot better than playing it in C way up here, which is a higher C than we normally play in. That didn't sound right for me, but Blake was a tenor and I'm a baritone. So you do it however you like. If you want to put your capo on the first fret, the second fret, third fret, move it all up to the fifth fret. It doesn't matter to me. But learning it open, I think, gives you the freedom to go all over the neck wherever you would go. Now, this uses a very similar lick that we have used in our previous Blind Blake songs that are in the key of A. It's, all right? He would slide into an A position. He'd kind of up and down off that A position, get some open notes, and play that C sharp right there. So that's the basic. Now, I think this one's actually, it's more of a roll pattern, and it's a little bit easier than like maybe the song we did a few weeks ago, Corrine Corrine, which was used the same lick, but a little different in the rhythm. So you slide up, okay, slide up, and get the fourth string and the second string with those two fingers, and then grab the middle string. This is why I say it's easier with three fingers, because you're going to get that middle string with your pointer, and then open. So play around with that. I mean, that's the heart of the song. That's a we've been with. You know, that's the signature lick of the song. You get that down, the rest is just a D chord. And that moaning dove, weeping willow, moaning dove. E run. So C, D, D sharp or E flat, D, to an E7. So we've done that a million times. I like that. He does that in the break. He doesn't do it during the tune when he's singing. I just like that. I don't know why, but I actually do. And then it's so open E, C, what is it, A to A flat? All right. Pull off the D string on the first fret, and then again that fourth fret, C sharp, A. And then he's got one of his little tricky turnarounds, which if you don't play them at speed, they don't sound great. Leave them off if you don't have to use it. You can use a different turnaround if you want, but it's that's it. And then you're into the next verse. I like that too. He doesn't do that in a lot of songs. He keeps the pace. But anyway. What it is, technically, it's a diminished, sliding, pulling off to the 4th, and then pulling off again up there to the 4, and then. So play it however you like it, or alter it if you're having trouble with it. I like to kind of go. Oops. So I just kind of like. That's well, it's at. It looks like a D7 chord, doesn't it? But it's actually A diminished. So I'm just going sliding in, and I just bar across and go open, and that's it. And I think one of the other reasons a lot of guitar players like this song is it's not terribly hard. Of all the Blind Blake tunes we've done so far, this is by far the easiest. But it's also obviously a much older style of blues than a lot of the Fuller's tunes that were recorded in the 30s and 40s. Well, 30s. Yeah, 30s. Probably more of a traditional tune that he picked up. And you know us, blues guys, we always want to hear the oldest music. We want to hear... and this is one, I mean, it kind of reminds me of like... Skip James, Killing Floor. It reminds me of Blind Blake's Georgia Bound. It's almost more of a hypnotic droning than it is, that's exciting. I got that. But this is like porch picking. This is like, sitting back in the cool of the evening after a hard day's work, and you got yourself a beverage, and you just. Let's see. I'll play it through one more time. But that lick is just so useful. You're going to get that down, and a lot of his other songs are going to make more sense, but you're also going to find ways to use it in different ways. I mean, most modern guitar players do not play, they may play the long A like this, they do not play it like that. But that's key to Fuller's style. I like this song. Of all the songs we've done so far, I can understand why this is probably his most enduring of maybe 3 or 4, because it is just a really nice tune. It's got a lot of lyrics, which, I had trouble remembering all the lyrics. I had to take notes. But picking wise, it's just, all right, let's go through it. 1, 2, 3. You're staying in 5 frets. You're not all over the fretboard. I mean, by no means is it a beginner's tune, because it is a tricky lick. But you can play that behind 100 things. I mean, you could do like, as a rhythm guitar instead of strumming, you could... It's just brilliant, honestly. And, this is one. Fuller seems to have been just a very laid-back, kind of easygoing sort of guy. He wasn't a real fighter like Blake was. He wasn't... he liked to drink. His wife led him... He was blind, obviously. His wife led him around by the hand. And I just imagined him just sitting there and find some lyrics from probably a song that was more than 100 years old then, that he heard his grandfather or somebody sing. Oh, that weeping willow and that mourning dove. Yeah, that weeping willow and that mourning dove. Yeah, I got a gal at the country that I showed you love. Oh, I love that one. I honestly do. I hope you do as well. So, as always, y'all, you got any questions or comments, let me know. Email me, Judson, judsoncarroll.com, or leave a comment or question in the comment question section under the video. And I do have one bit of exciting news. You may not know, but this world-weary, road-weary bluesman does actually have to make a living. I am an herbalist by trade. I teach herbal medicine. I write books about herbal medicine. I do herbal medicine podcasts. I take people out in the woods and show them how to forage for wild plants and live off the land and survive. When I'm not, playing a guitar, I'm working with ferro rods and knives and all that fun stuff out in the woods. I've written several books. You can find them on Amazon.com, but I've got a new one coming out by a major publisher, Sophia Press. It will be released this Wednesday, May 19, 2026, officially. You can order it now off their website. It's called Herbs That Heal. It's co-authored with my friend Steve Cunningham, and we're really proud of it. It's a beautiful book. Sophia did an amazing job with all the illustrations. So if you'd like to check that out and buy my book, I'd appreciate it. The more books I sell, the more freedom I have to play guitar. So if you like to learn these blues lessons, you might want to buy that book. But no, it's a really good practical book. I think it'll help you and your family a lot. It's not out there and woohoo. It's what we call kitchen medicine. It's what you can do in your own home to take care of common ailments. We're talking, colds and flus and sore throats and such like as that. I mean, it's not out there. It's really, really practical. So check it out, Herbs That Heal, Judson, Carroll, and Steve Cunningham by Sophia Press. And, if you like that kind of stuff, sign up for my other, videos and podcasts. Every week I send out free articles through my Substack newsletter. That's Judson Carroll Master Herbalist. I get on into a little the prepping side, the survival side, a lot of gardening, a lot of recipes, because I love food and I love to eat. I mean, music and food and being in the woods are my passions. That's all I've ever wanted to do since I was a kid. I mean, I'm talking 5, 10 years old. I'm staring out the classroom window and they're like, Judson, you're not paying attention. And I'm like, I just want to be outside. Y'all, I just want to be outside. And it took a long time, but I finally figured out a way to make a living being outside and, fishing, hunting, foraging, doing herbal medicine, playing guitar, sleeping in a hammock under the stars. It finally worked out, thank God. All right, y'all, have a good one. I'll talk to you next time.